Hello everybody, how are we all? It's been a while. I am super behind filming a final video for my big Arctic to Alpine adventure with S1000RR series. Generally what happens, like the last 2 days of my trip, I will get on the road, I will do the most boring route back to the ferry port imaginable, not even the service station stops are interesting. So from that little house it was a big house, that big house in Germany where I left you guys in the last video, right the way up to the ferry home, I did not film. It was very uninteresting. I didn't even get my baguette, I didn't get my schnitzel. I am remembering all of these hopes and dreams that I had for the last 2 days of my trips. None of that happened. It sucked, but I'll tell you guys about that later. So it's been 2 months since I got back from that trip. This is Pinky's first time out on the roads since. And when we got home, she went straight into Barnstormers for her 30,000 mile service and some more repairs. As if anything else on this bike could go wrong, it did. And now we're out. It's 3 days before Christmas Day. I am meeting my friend. I'm at Lumi's. Normality has resumed, but I will stick my camera on my helmet and I will tell you guys what happened on the last few days of my trip and what's been going on since. I'm just kind of giving her a little bit of a once over because I haven't looked at my bike since I got it back from the repairs, and I've got burnt on trouser leg. That's gonna be there forever to go with my sheep dent.
I know you're warm. You shouldn't be warm, it's freezing. This is probably going to be Pinky's last ride of the year. She hasn't had a lot of action since I got her back from the trip. So it's been a little bit of a delay since I got back from the trip until now. Pinky had a bit of a tantrum on the way back. Actually, she chose the right time to have a tantrum. Basically, I left you guys at the big house in Germany where I was spending the night, and I think I was talking about how excited I was to have schnitzel or a baguette or something, and I was going to make the best out of the last 2 days of the trip, and I was going to stop somewhere good, and I was going to get a lot of good food, and that didn't happen. I set off from Germany with kind of summit fever. I actually thought that I could get back to England that night if I managed to make it to this particular ferry crossing. But what happened was the ferry crossing didn't exist, it wasn't on the schedule. The alternative boat that I found was really expensive and I didn't know if I was going to make it. So I spent that day just riding as far as I could before I eventually admitted defeat and thought there's no way I'm going to make this boat. By the time I realised I wasn't going to make the boat, I was in France. So that was schnitzel just not going to happen, that was a shame. So I thought I'll find somewhere to stay in France that's in like a little town, I'll go out, I'll get some good food. I booked a place. Now I did look on Google and I did think that there was going to be places to eat, but actually when I turned up, everywhere was shuttered, everywhere was closed down, or it wasn't good. I had coffee for dinner. I got up at 2 o'clock in the morning and I got the first boat back to England. So yeah, my last few days of that trip, they were really boring, they were just unpleasant, it was just get through it, not worth filming. And then I crossed the border back into England from the ferry port and Pinky decides that she's done, she's had enough, she's not going to start, that's it. Oh my god, it's all over. It was really embarrassing because I just had a weird little altercation with the guy at the border control. And then the bike doesn't start, so that was embarrassing. Eventually get her to start, I get her home, and that was that. It was a pretty big anticlimax following such a massive trip. And so I didn't have an exciting update for you guys because it wasn't good. It wasn't visually interesting, it wasn't entertaining at all. So I continued with my life. I got home and that was that. It's weird, you could do these big trips and they feel like they're so substantial and impactful, but you get home and nothing's changed. It doesn't really affect your life in any way. It was good at the time and you get home and it's like, yeah, that was that. And then you kind of get the post-trip blues. But Pinky went into Barnstormers because she had ticked over 30,000 miles, she needed her service, and also her coolant pump was no longer working, she needed a new one of those. was there for a little while, and then I got her back and she just kind of went into the garage, and until today I haven't really looked at her, so it's nice that she's actually working. A coolant pump on an RR is like over £1,000 for the work. The coolant pump is in the sump, which is awkward to get into, so that was covered by warranty. That was almost another disaster. And I have to say, if you've got a new-ish BMW and your warranty is about to expire and you put in over 20,000 miles on it, buy the warranty, seriously. I think I've saved myself like £6,000 this year alone in repairs, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I can't decide if that speaks volumes about BMW's quality or if it speaks volumes about the value of the warranty. Like, is the bike made out of cheese? Probably. But is the cheese insured? Yes, it is. So that's what's been going on. Got back from the trip, bike went in for repairs, and in the run up to Christmas I've mostly just been at my desk doing Christmas artwork orders. So I haven't lived a very interesting life since getting back. I have been solidly drawing, and it's 3 days until Christmas. My work is complete. I can go out and see my friends, I can relax. Sorry that I didn't really have a very exciting update for the end of the trip. It was super miserable. I got to France and I got to this place and I thought this is going to be great, but it was really dark, and I walked into town, there was just nothing there. There was literally nothing there. There was one restaurant and I had a look in it and it was full of, I think it was like a lorry driver, like a truck stop sort of place. It was just full of men. It looked really intimidating. Not that I normally have a problem walking into a room full of men, but on this occasion I was tired and I couldn't deal with it, so yeah, that was that. And then I got up at 2 o'clock in the morning and rode the remaining 100 miles to the ferry port, and I got on the boat and I was like aggressively waiting for them to start serving breakfast so I could have a meal. And maybe I could have done a better job and I could have seen more of France, and I did want to, because I never stop in France. And I wanted to give it a chance, but you know when you've just kind of got in your head that you're going to get home and you can't do anything else, so you just do the one thing, you get home. That's what that was. Maybe next year I'll go and do France properly. So overall, for that trip I was away for 31 days on the road. I saw 19 countries. It could have been 20. I probably should have gone into Italy. For some reason I just couldn't be bothered on the day that I was literally like 20 miles away from Italy, and I missed a really good pass because I just didn't look properly. I think if there's anything that I can take away from this trip, it's that actually a tiny little bit more forward planning could make a world of difference. I spent 5 countries trying to get tyres, and what I should have done was just kind of planned a couple of days ahead, just on that one occasion, so that I could get tyres. And I could stop somewhere that I knew would have tyres, and I could organise it, and then I wouldn't be running around going into cities thinking that I could just show up and get tyres, which you can do in England, but apparently you can't do in Europe. The bike covered, I think it was something like 6,300 miles. We went from one service to the next service in the space of a month. This bike has spent more time this year in barnstormers than it has anywhere else. And as for money, I'll probably do a separate video on this so you guys know exactly how much various things cost, because everywhere was quite different. There was no one solution, but I think I ended up spending like on myself £4,000, and then add another £500-600 for the bike, getting tyres and things. But I will go into a slightly more detailed video for that one. I haven't even looked myself. I kind of got back and I just thought, you know what would be really, really good is if I just don't look at my bank for a couple of months. I'll let those transactions kind of get to the bottom of the list and I just won't acknowledge them. I don't need that negativity. I don't need to know how much money I've spent. It was quite bad. It was a lot of money. But in the greater scheme of things, to go on holiday for a month, 4-ish grand, that's pretty good. Maybe, no, it isn't. It's a lot of money. It was expensive. Although I will say now, it was expensive until I started going south. Once I got down to the bottom of Poland, it started being ridiculously cheap. I think my two favourite places would be Norway. I love Norway. It seems lazy to go back to somewhere that you've been to before, but I was just so excited to go back to Norway. I think that's always going to be one that I'd love to go to. But also Slovenia. I adored the time that I spent in Slovenia. I'm not going to tell you my least favourite country, but maybe if you watch the videos back you might figure it out. And now I guess I need to talk about future plans, because I'm now getting asked that a lot. Where are you going next? What's your next big trip plan? And at the beginning of 2024 I told you guys that I had quit my full-time job so that I could do this full-time, and now I need to admit to you guys that I can't do that again. So 2025 I have actually gone back to the job that I left, and 2025 I don't have any big plans. I have things in my head that I want to do, but I need to settle down for a little bit, save up some money. Realistically, I'm not going to be able to do anything next year. So 2025 is probably going to be full of lots of little things. I'll be going to ABR Festival. I am a guest speaker at ABR Festival, so that's going to be fun. That's my I'd say it's my first time doing a talk, but I have got a couple of other things potentially being lined up for next year where I have to talk to people. So I'll be doing little things like that. Motivational speaking, but not really. But mainly 2025 I am just going to be putting money away and kind of weighing up options for later down the line. There are things that I really want to do with this bike. She needs a bit of a break as well. She's had a hard life, and although I think she's alright at the moment, I think she deserves a bit of a break. She deserves to do some fun things that R1Liz like to do. I might take her on track or something as like a bit of a treat. Like, here you go, Pinky, have a track day in the summer. Won't you like that? Please stop braking. I absolutely adore this bike, and that's another question that I get asked all the time, is what are you going to get after Pinky? I have zero plans to get rid of this bike. This bike is going in the ground with me. I love this bike. It's still my favourite bike to ride. She has been through a lot. We are at 30,400-ish miles. I have put every single one of those miles on this bike. I've had her from brand new. She's been on many, many, many boats. And I am so, so grateful to own such a good bike. I know she's had her issues, but we got through them. Everything's been fixed. Everything's been good. I've been so well looked after by my BMW dealership. And I'm very, very excited to see where we end up going next. As I said, 2025, probably relax a little bit with this one. If I'm going to do something stupid next year, I'll probably do it on a different bike, so that I can save up for the next service package that I need for this one. She's got a 36,000 mile service next, and that's a big one, so I do need to kind of prepare for that. That's going to cost some money, so I can't go out and put loads and loads of miles on her, because then I'll end up having to foot that bill, and I'd rather be ready for it. But definitely in my head, what I want to be doing is going a lot further with her. So that's something that I will start thinking about, which would be good. I have to say a huge thank you to everybody who's been keeping up with the trip videos, to everybody who's been subscribing and commenting on the YouTube videos that I've been putting out. I hope that you guys have enjoyed them. I have to say a huge thank you for all of the support and encouragement that you guys have given me this year. It's been an amazing year. I've done a lot of things that definitely definitely last year, the year before, I wouldn't have dreamed I'd be doing. And now these things are just kind of normal for me. It's like just jumping on a boat and going somewhere. That would have been terrifying to me 12 months ago, but now it's just like, yeah, that's fine, that's alright. I'm a much braver and more confident person than I ever thought I would be. So thank you to you guys for supporting me in that journey. And thank you to BMW for making a bike that will let you get there. Because although she has had her issues, she is very good in the way that she will kind of brake slowly. She doesn't brake all in one go. Something will stop working, but she'll keep going. She hasn't stranded me anywhere. And so even though I have had to deal with these problems, I've been able to deal with them on my terms. So I guess this brings us to the end of the year. I do have another bike in the garage that I need to show you, but that'll be a separate video. So hopefully I'll get something online for that weird period between Christmas and New Year's where nobody really knows what to do with themselves and everyone's really full of cheese. But for now, that is it from me and Pinky. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the series and everything that I've done this year. As I said, I'm so grateful to everyone that's been watching and supporting me. I will endeavour to continue making these videos and putting out content once or twice a week going into 2025 because I really love doing it. Started out a little bit weird talking to myself while I'm riding along and then getting home and re-listening to all of it, but actually I quite enjoy it. So I hope you guys all have a very good holiday season. If you celebrate Christmas, happy Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you enjoy the day off that you'll probably get. And I will see you guys soon. Goodbye.